this week's video, I want to talk about the power of focus. We are always focusing on something, whether we realize it or not. Most people are either focused on the past or the future and are rarely focused on the present moment. Now, everything is energy. So wherever we place our attention or our focus, we are adding more and more energy to that thing and amplifying it. And in turn, it shows up as something, a situation, a person in our life, and we get to experience that. Everything that we're putting out is what we get back. Whatever we put out is what we get back. It's a very simple rule. Even the way we treat people, if you treat someone with kindness and love, that always comes back to you in the form of a smile or happiness from the other person. And if you do the opposite, that also comes back. If we give someone criticism, then that person responds in a defensive, negative way. That's being thrown back to us, whether we realize it or not. So this idea of focus is a really critical thing to start to understand, because your entire life is showing up for you in the way that you have chosen to focus. The only issue that I see with focusing positively on something is when we use it to avoid a painful emotion or something that we just want to shift in our life that we don't really want to look at. So we have this negative emotion and we place this positive emotion on top of it. And the problem with that is that it's almost like you're just placing a Band-Aid on top of it. You're not actually doing any real healing of that emotional wound. And you can see that the issue there is that you're actually amplifying the resistance. It's sort of like if someone says to you, don't think about the monkey in your mind. All you're going to think about in that moment is that you have a monkey in your mind. So it never really works to try to avoid something, because that thing is just getting pushed down further and further and further inside of you, but you're holding on to it. Remember, I talked about this in my video about resistance. One aspect of resistance is suppressing an emotion. So to take a positive emotion and think that by placing it on a negative one, that you are going to free yourself of that, it doesn't ever work. It might work for a brief period of time, but that emotion is going to bubble up again and resurface as an event or something that you see show up in your life, because it's still there inside of you energetically. It lives inside you because you haven't let it go. You're holding on to it. That's what resistance means. In order for you to actually begin to heal any of these deep emotional wounds that you have, you need to treat them like a mother lovingly treats a child. You need to see that thing and you need to learn to accept it, to become one with it. Because in reality, what we all want, our true nature, is a state of wholeness, a state of oneness with all that is. There is no separation in our true nature. So anytime we have these aspects of ourselves that are fragmented and that we are further suppressing through resistance, through avoidance, by placing a positive emotion on top of something, thinking that we're going to get rid of it that way, we are not actually healing that wound. Sometimes it feels so insurmountable to try to think positively when you're in a lot of pain. It's sort of like asking somebody who has a broken leg to go out and run a marathon. It's not possible. And they feel very, very frustrated trying to do it. And they may be able to do it for a little while, but then what happens is they just keep seeing these same patterns show up in their life in a myriad of ways. The beauty of all this is that you can heal these wounds by bringing awareness to them, by recognizing that they're there and leaving it be. You do not want to intellectualize all of your emotional pain, because it's not going to heal the wound. But the wound is there underneath all of the layers. And so it is important to bring them out through awareness, but then you do not need to fix anything. Because if you start to try to fix something, you're again back in a state of resistance. You're not actually going to fix anything. You're going to accept it by recognizing that it just is, that it's there, that it's something that happened. A lot of times we can really release a lot of our old wounding by bringing awareness to the fact that most of the things we're thinking about are just memories, which are really just images in our mind. They're nothing more than pictures. And we only bring more energy to them, more fuel to the fire, when we focus on them more and more and more, and they become more real for us. But if we can just give them space by allowing them to be, through bringing awareness to the fact that they're there, then we can begin to heal all of our deep emotional wounding. And then you will naturally begin to focus more positively. Why? Because you will feel liberated. You will feel lighter. You will know that you have actually healed that thing, because the wisdom that you've created is one of acceptance, is one of oneness. That, my friends, is true healing, is true healing. The fear that a lot of people have with doing any of this work is that they think it's going to be a never-ending cleaning job. You know, they're going to look up in the attic and there's tons of stuff up there, years and years of accumulation. And it's never going to get done. But I promise you it will, because at some point the house will get clean. It has to. And then it's just a matter of maintaining your house and cleaning it a little bit every day. But if you do not do this deep house cleaning, you will have all of this stuff inside of you that is still not being cleaned out. That's just the way that it works. And life is going to teach you that. Whether you like it or not, your life is a reflection of everything that is inside of you that you believe to be true. So until you purify yourself and until you clean all of the areas that have darkness and shed light on them by bringing awareness to them, you are not going to feel liberated. You are just going to feel that you are masking all of those dark areas with a positive Band-Aid. And then once you do clean your house, it will be easy for you to focus positively and to live joyfully. You are going to want to bring people into your home and entertain people and share all sorts of things with them. I encourage you to try this. I have several videos on emotional processing, also on social conditioning. I encourage you to watch them and really put these things to the test. Practice them. Don't just hear what I'm saying and then turn this video off and do nothing about it. Try to implement some of this stuff so you can actually live a more liberated life. Remember, enlightenment is turning a light on. It's shedding light on what is already there. You are already enlightened. But in order to turn the light on, you need to look at all the parts of you that are dark. You need to fully turn the light on, not just partially. So I hope you can start to realize these things and practice them. I love you all so much. I look forward to seeing you next week. Until then, remember, let go.